That man doesn't know any Ateso.
Excellency, I'm not aware of it.
Vice President, help us, please. Give her a microphone where she is. Let them bring a microphone to you there. VP, you stay there, they will bring the uniform, the microphone. Big people should not move around too much. What do you call the packed food which you go with on a journey? It's Sentanda in the Bantu dialects, and it is Peko. Have I got it right? Peko? Peke? 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 Uh-huh. Now let's get it in Ateso.
Your Excellency, in Ateso, we have no specific word for it, but we call it Inyamat.
This needs technical assistance. we shall give them Entanda as. Okay, and in Lugubara, sit down.
Thank you.
Lugubara. Lugubara.
No, I speak Madi and we call it Order.
Where is Madi? It's called?
It's called Order.
Order?
Yes.
And Lugubara?
I don't know, sir.
We must have a Rugubara here. You people have never seen how Rugubara look like. There is one specimen here. Come.
That's what he was saying.
Introduce yourself and your credentials as a Rugubara. Who are you?
Your Excellency, I'm called Tolea Franco. I'm Assistant Commissioner Children Affairs, Ministry of Gender, Labor.
Oh, this is a big one, a big Rugubara now.
Your Excellency, in Lugbara, it is called Igbeko.
It's called what?
Igbeko.
Ejaku.
Igbeku.
Ideku.
Igbeku.
Igeku.
It is I, G, K, U.
Ijeku.
Igbeku.
Ijeku, okay. So now, my strategy on free education is that from 1996-7 was that no money should be paid in the government schools, and the parents should only provide uniform, book and pencil and pen and pencil, and Ijeku. That's what. Otherwise, let the children study free. But these people have been bringing back money. They bring back money from here. So the youth movement, what do you say about that? And when I say, can the families afford or not? You can't get an answer.
Thank you, Your Excellency. The youth movement believes in the need to have high literacy, and we believe that access to that high literacy level comes from free education. In fact, Your Excellency, it's one of our strongest advocacy points to check all levels of political leadership to put their feet down for free education that comes without corruption.
Fine.
You.
So thank you very much. You're going to sit down. We shall talk more in detail.
Thank you.
So, in terms of empowering the youth, we need to remove money charges from all government schools. the UPE school. They are the schools of the rich, the Buddhas, the what. Those can charge if they want. But for the rural schools and some of the schools in the poor parts of the towns, there should be no charge. In the schools of Kampala, at one time we had compromised that maybe, because for them they use electricity, they have water, that maybe the parents could pay for those, for the water, for the urban schools. Therefore, I use this occasion to call on the youth movement and youth members of parliament and youth leaders in the whole country to defend free education. Kick out these parasites who have long turned education into a business. Education is not a business. It is an empowerment effort. And if the government is meeting the costs of paying the teachers, the cost of building schools, the classrooms, of building the teachers' houses, of building the laboratories, what is the money for? They are looking for how to get money. Those local elite. We are paying extra teachers. Don't pay extra teachers. You keep the teachers you have there. Don't bring extra ones. Oh, we are this one. All these excuses. So that is the contribution of the NRM, which has somewhat been interfered with by the local parasite elements. BTVET. So once the youth have peace, they have immunization, they have got free education under UPE and USE, then the next one are so they have literacy and numeracy, which is what the minister was talking about, 95%, 92%. What they now need is skills now. Skills. Literacy plus skills. BTVET. That's why we introduced BTVET, business and vocational training. So let the youth leaders be very clear on this. The youth has peace, law and order. He or she is immunized. He gets free education. If he's not rich, if you are rich, there are private schools. You go and pay in the private schools. And the expensive government schools. But the children of the poor, let them go to the free education schools. And they get literacy and numeracy. And then BTVET, skills, vocation or business training. If you do this, this youth will be really empowered. All these policies are in place, but they need to be pushed. I am always fighting the system. The system is against all this. They want money from the poor families. Bring money for lunch, money for latrine, Omururu. Lack of patriotism. They don't care about these poor people of theirs. They just want money. And the political system allows them. The MP in the area doesn't say anything. Because when I was young, I was mobilizing the I'm healthy. I have got education, and I've got a skill, but I don't know how to start. I don't know how to start. I don't have capital. Oh, then we come to Parliament, because there is the government, NRM government, cabinet, Parliament. Come to Parliament, please. Instead of traveling to go to Europe to benchmark, let's put as much money as possible into the wealth funds so that these youth have where to start in case somebody wants to start but has no capital. And I was just my calculator here. I was calculating if we put like 100 million shillings in each parish, that would be for 10,000 parishes in Uganda. That would be like 1 trillion. 1 trillion is enough to put 100 million shillings in each parish, where the youth, but also the other people can go and borrow, do something, pay back. And we can build up this capital. If we put 1 trillion each year, 1 trillion, 1 trillion, in 5 years it will be 5 trillion. That's too much money. Anybody who wants to borrow at low interest and pay back and do what he wants to do will be able to access money. So here the issue is the political class, don't dish for yourself from the saucepan first. To dish putting on your plate. First, let these poor people get entandikwa capital. If we can have like 1 trillion each year, 5 trillion in 5 years, all these children will get capital because in 5 years, a parish will be having 500 million shillings in their parish as their revolving fund. Then, once we deal with the wealth funds, because remember these wealth funds are mainly for the children of the poor. The rich can borrow from banks. If I want money, I will not come to borrow from this parish branch, SACCO. I go to the bank and borrow because there are those who are able, who don't have to compete for this money. So this money is specifically for the poor families. Now the next effort then is infrastructure. Once you deal with the wealth funds, the next effort is infrastructure. The roads, the electricity, the irrigation, the piped water, that is done collectively by the government for the whole population. So this is the way forward. The skeleton is there, but let the youth support it. When we come to resource allocation, be very, very, very firm. Anybody who's trying to divert money to benchmark, to I don't know who do what, increase salaries of people who already have something. No, please, let's start with the Abanaku. Start with the poor people. Be very firm. This is the way of, then of course, I will come to your theme, the theme of this year, I will come to it. Now, on the issue of the corona, people are talking about the businesses which have collapsed. talking about this problem, that problem, the rent. But the big problem is to survive. Our big problem is to survive. Is people not to die on a big scale. You have heard that in the US, 600,000 people have died. 600,000 people. 600,000 people is like all the Sabine dying. Because the Sabine are like 500,000, so you can imagine 600,000 people died in the US. The other day, I was saying goodbye to the ambassador of Sweden. I asked him, how many people died in your country? 14,000. In a country like Sweden, which is only, whose population is like 20% of the population of Uganda. But here, we had managed to control death until beginning of May, when only 300 people had died from the beginning of the crisis. But because of the empaka, everybody, many cooks spoiled the broth. And indiscipline, with the second wave, the death rate now went to almost 3,000, I think, now. So the struggle this time has been to survive. Other things will be damaged, businesses will collapse. You will be chased out of houses, but people should not die. Now, before the corona crisis, I was having contacts with the very powerful groups in the US in textiles. They wanted to buy our textiles and set up textile factories here. Very big, I will get their names of those companies. But recently, when I checked, they told me, please don't mention those, or those collapsed. Those big textile companies in the US, they collapsed. Corona yasanyao. Why did they collapse? Because they were called chains. They were called chains in the US. Chains, like, I think like supermarkets. Supermarket, Museveni'S supermarket, Museveni'S supermarket, where you go and buy. Now, when Corona came, it stopped people from going to buy. Nobody could come. They all collapsed. Now, how will you bring back those? How will you bring back those? How can, this was not a joke. This was a global crisis, bigger than war, actually. So how will you bring back all those companies? Because people could no longer, because these were businesses built on going to the shop to buy from there. People were going to buy. Even me, when I would go to, here we used to have a shop called Deacon's here in Kampala. And when I spent a few days in London, there were some shops, I've forgotten what they were called. Marks and Spencer. Marks and Spencer was a big shop. But you had to go there physically. Now with Corona, physical going was out. So what has now actually grown during this crisis is ordering online. Online has now grown. Ordering things online, they bring them to you. Don't go, you order. So the crisis has caused like a revolution. So therefore, don't spend so much time crying this, but we shall put a fund. That fund is there. I will tell the Minister of Finance to elaborate to see how these people can either recover or go to a new line. Yeah. My mother, Esther Kokundeka, died and I buried her. Don't you see me here? Amos Kaguta died. Things can happen and which you must have to forget. Like those business companies in the US, I don't know how they will recover. Because even the US cannot have the money to bring back all those companies. It's like an earthquake. If an earthquake comes and destroys everything, what are you going to do? You have to start afresh. Yeah. This was a social, economic earthquake. This one here. So the main thing here is to survive. Now, the other day I had my friend Dr. Besige talking about opening of schools. Schools should be opened. These people don't have a plan. The government doesn't have a plan, because if they had immunized the teachers, the schools could be opened, because the children, even if they get sick, they recover. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Besige. But you have not thought the problem through properly. Actually, the teachers are among our priority list of immunization. And I think many of the teachers have already been immunized because they were among the first. You remember the first list of Mama Jenna Cheng to be immunized? The 250,000 teachers were in that list. The list of 4.8 million people to be immunized first. The teachers were among them. But the problem, so even if they are all immunized, the teachers, the problem is that not all the schools, very few schools are actually boarding schools. So the children, because that argument of Besige would work, if all the schools were boarding, the teachers are immunized, the children, even if they are not immunized because they manage to defeat corona, they get sick, but many of them will be healed naturally because of their young life. Although that's not the case, I have heard some of the children dying actually. I have heard about that one also. But the problem is that many of the schools are day schools. So the children study and go back home. And when they go back home, they kill all their parents. Is that what Dr. Besige wanted? Or he had not remembered that? Because the majority of you can check the number of schools, the day schools, are very many more than the boarding schools. So that's why we are saying, please, schools hold on until we have immunized the big majority of people. So that if the child goes to school, gets corona, he comes back, the people at home are already immunized. Now, on the issue of, please, on the issue of corona, the main point is survival. Other things will be lost. We shall suffer losses, but we want to minimize human death. Businesses will collapse. School time will be lost, but I don't want a large number of people to die like happened in some of the other places. Now, the idea of the University Rivers Fund, that's a good idea. University tertiary college rivers fund. Actually, when I started the youth fund many years ago, I had actually started it for university leavers. But when it went to Parliament, with cheap populism, said, no, it should not be for the university, it should be for all youth. So, but there, I had an idea for the university leavers first. Why? This is because the parents spend a lot of money educating these children. When they finish and they don't get jobs, those families really suffer in a special way. Because they invested and nothing comes back. So I was thinking, if a child has not got a job in 2 years, who graduated? That was my plan. But when they took it to Parliament, they said, no, all youth. So I had to keep quiet. Because I can't go to the bush all the time. To fight. They are all youth. They are all youth. Yes, but they are all youth. But this family has invested considerably. Why don't we start with it? We shall come to the other youth. No. So the money was. But Banyanko called it okumemera, to scatter. Somebody told me that in Luo they call it polo, when you scatter. Give a microphone to Amongi. Okumemera. Umuruganda tukita kumamira. Kumamira. Olwa Baganda wano. Olwa Baganda. Kanda bobo olwa Baganda. Unaba bana baita Baganda abasinga.
Your Excellency, it can be puoro or keto. Keto is to scatter. Puoro is only when you are near and you are putting it near you.
Like in the food you do like this. Like you scatter salt in.
Yes. No, in food it is puoro. Because food is near you and it's in a plate and near. But if it is a wide place, it's keto.
Keto. So
keto. K-E.
Keto.
Yes.
So we keto the whole money. Do you have somebody who speaks Uganda? Jango ano, Omuganda jango tuyambe. Omuganda ono ani? Sokola nye, tukutegere bulungi.
Florence Nachiwala Kiyingi.
Oh, oyo Muganda ddala. Bakiyita kumamira.
Okusaasaanya oba okumansira.
Okumansa.
Yes, sir.
Ate okumamira.
Okumamira eba nkoko eyagala kubiika magi. Naye okusaasaanya kwe ku kitundu ekinene olina ebintu bitono n'obiteekateeka buli wamu.
Okusaasaanya is just an ordinary word. Nange nkimanyi ekyo. Give us a special one. So there is no other word.
Oluganda lulina ebigambo bitono naye okusaasaanya kwe kwanjalayanjala ebintu byonna by'olina.
Tatuyambye. Because the Nyankwere one is very clear, okumemerera. You have remembered something?
Your Excellency, actually Luganda makes it more contextual. It makes it sound as terrible as you're explaining it. So it is Mansa. Just in Namere.
Oh,
from Masaka.
namere mwana wange muzukuru.
Yes, evo ye jjajja.
Oya Masaka.
Yes, abalwanyi sebo.
Okay.
So Luganda even makes the word sound terrible, because what you're trying to explain is how
that's what I was telling you, trying to tell Nachiwara.
Okusasanya is okay. It doesn't bring out the negativity you are trying to bring out. So Luganda, the Luganda word of that context actually brings out the
and what
negativity.
Kumansa
mansa. Where you're just haphazardly, helter-skelter, and you have no proper result from your distribution.
Katao, webale nnyo. Thank you.
Kale jjajja. Omuziro nvubu akabbira njovu.
Okay. Oyo Muganda ddala. So, my original plan, the youth fund which I started when I brought it to Parliament, was to concentrate on the university graduates, because they had invested. Many of them didn't get jobs because they were doing social science courses, and I wanted to see how to support them. But they kumansa. So I totally agree that this time we can now revisit that area and give them something for them. Now, I would like to appeal to you to support the parish model. I know I've been having this women fund, youth fund, but you know, these are very difficult to monitor, because there are many, they are scattered. And since they all belong to the parish, why don't we consolidate these efforts at the parish? I heard what Eyeru was saying, that there is no specific fund for the youth. But the youth are the majority in the rural areas. They are the majority. If you really go in the district council these days, the district councils, many of the councillors are youth. They are young people. It's not like in the past, when I would go to a district council, you would see many old people in the council. But not, when I go there, they are just young people. Not the youth councillor, no, all the councillors. You call you go and have, like, for instance, you call the one of Kampala. Ani go muise bamuita abe wakiso ne Kampala muje wano bebayise ababaka muje wano babalabe wano mumaso. Come here and they see you properly. Muje wano mumaso. Imirao sigarao ne corona yo. Come forward. About turn. You turn and look. So among these, look at them. Do they belong to the Mzee Mafabi? Come also, Minister Mafabi, come. Now, do these people belong to Mafabi's constituency? Do they belong to Mafabi's constituency? No. So these are the people in the villages. So really you are fearing nothing. How old are you? 30. Ategwe. 28. Ategwe. 27. Yeah, these are the people. This is the parish. So please, let's move. By supporting the parish, actually you're supporting, not Mafabi. Forget about Mafabi. my family's constituency, they're in the houses, they can no longer get out. Except the tough ones like myself. Thank you so much. You go and sit down. So I would really appeal to you to let us consolidate, but let's put enough money. Let's put enough money. Let's put at least 100 million per parish in each financial year. In each financial year. Now, the motorcycles, I have no problem. We shall have to buy the new ones. Vice President is here. Increasing the Youth Council budget, I promised you that we shall push it to 5 billion. That's what I told you the other time. I thought they had done it, but if they didn't do it, we shall do it. Now, the issue of amalgamating the Youth Council and the other something and something, that one is they didn't understand. Because you cannot amalgamate. You know, long ago when we did arithmetic, mathematics, they would say like and unlike terms. You cannot mix things which are not mixable. Because the Youth Council is a democratic channel. The Women Council is a democratic channel. The Disability Council is a democratic channel for the disabled. Now, how would you be part of the disabled when you're not disabled? They simply did not understand it. It's not a big issue. We shall sort it out. Now, finally, coming to the theme, innovation and transformation of the food systems. That one is, the issues are clear. The starting point is the poor drying from the garden, harvesting and putting things on the ground, allowing food to touch the soil. We should make sure that food does not touch soil. Harvest and put either on a cemented floor or canvas. Storage, contamination through handling, damage by insects. Damage by insects is a big problem, and rodents and other pests. I didn't come with anybody from agriculture here, but the experts of agriculture should help us with those, because these pests really disturb us. But the other day I was discussing with a group which has got very good, they have discovered a new organic anti-pest formula. Very interesting. I told them to go and try it out in one of the areas. If it works out, it will be very, very good, because it is organic. It's not the other. It's not the inorganic. This is organic. It will revolutionize all this. Infestation by microorganisms, especially fungus, which causes aflatoxin. Here, I would like to give just a rough advice to people. And I don't know why the health people don't do this. I eat ground nuts quite a bit because I like them. I don't eat European foods. I don't eat bread because I'm not a European. I don't eat rice because I'm not a Chinese. I'm not an Indian. I eat kalo, millet. I eat cassava, bananas, the fingers. with our meat 2 times a week. Then I eat vegetables and peas and things like that. One of the things I eat is ground nuts, ebinyobwa. Now the problem with the big, I don't know why these headed people don't really talk. The ebinyobwa, the ground nuts I eat, are always shelled, removed from their skin on the day they are going to pound them and give them to me and Mama, and then if there is anything left over, they don't cook it. Because you see, when you share the ground nuts and you keep them there open, that's how they attract fungus. And then the fungus produces the aflatoxin. So the medical people should tell our people, nobody should share ground nuts unless you want to pound them and eat them that day. So these shelled ground nuts, which they sell in the market, are very dangerous. The Minister of Health should stop them. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. So you wonder why they can know this and they keep quiet. People just go on. I just remember this, but it all comes from the problems of post-harvest handling. Then you have the limited value addition. That one we are going to cure. Poor marketing. Then confused leaders. They are also part of the post-harvest handling. You see, these confused leaders, I'm remembering this because of the marketing. The market inside Uganda is not enough. The sugar we are producing, the market is not enough. We are producing more. The milk, the maize. So, like one time I met some Banyankore there. They were quarreling with our Indians. The Indians we brought to help them process the milk. Oh, you Indians, you are cheating us. You are amategato, our milk. I said, but you people, why do you quarrel with the Indians? If you want to process the milk yourself, do it. Who has stopped you? Why do you quarrel with these people? Oh, they are cheating us. They are giving us less money for the milk. My question to them, have you, because you see the internal market is not enough for all these products. So the real market is either in Africa or abroad. But you cannot sell abroad or in Africa if your prices are not competitive. If your prices are high for sugar or for milk or for maize, you are not going to sell in London or in Beijing or in New Delhi. So in marketing, we must be sure that we don't overprice ourselves out of the market. And the leaders who bring cheap popularity, more money, those are actually enemies of our efforts. That is part of the problem. That's why I call it part of the post-harvest handling. Start with the international market. What is the price of the product in other places to the consumer? Then work backwards. You add processing, you add transport, then you see what the farmer can get and remain competitive. So I'm very happy In the speech here, they have pointed out that the people who are chronically hungry in Uganda are still 12%. But this will be cured if we do two things. Chronic hunger is due to lack of money or production. But there's also malnutrition, which is mainly due to ignorance. Because the foods in Uganda are there, but sometimes the people don't know what to eat. But for the chronically hunger, that can be because of either the people who live in Karamoja because of the harsh environment, or even the people in the towns here can be part of this group. But when we wake up, the way we are talking, many of the families get involved in production in the 4 sectors, then it will be easier to identify who are really chronically hungry, and then we support them in a special way. But now, even the one who has got potential is not using it. So it's a bit confused. Let's clarify it by everybody following our message, getting involved with the support of the decision makers by putting enough money in the parish model, in the UDB for the bigger people who want to borrow, in the Myoga. In spite of the mistakes, those mistakes will be found. The ones who stole the Myoga money will be found. There's enough space for them in Ruzira. They will be accommodated there. But the project is a good one. And then, once everybody is active, using their full potential, then we can discover the ones who are really stuck, who have no way of moving, and we can support those. I thank you, and I congratulate the youth on this day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. That clapping is not enough. Thank you so much. Some of us who have been your students, whenever you talk, at least we get something that we should go and tell our people and do ourselves. Your Excellency, we have only 2 things left on our program. One, we are going to have a youth initiative that you're going to launch for tree planting. And I will request the chairperson, National Youth Council, with the